and welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dadley Boyz of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilborn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review Raw and the go-home show ahead of SummerSlam.
It's just all right, isn't it? It's just all right. I'm more or less excited about SummerSlam, so I suppose you could classify it as ineffective in that way because you're supposed to be at your hottest for this card, which I like. Mm-hmm. Like, genuinely buzzed for this card. Just all right. This is the thing. I like the SummerSlam card, so I'm happy, I guess, with all the matches and the stories, but maybe they've all peaked too soon because nothing really felt like it was peaking here.
It felt to me like I'm really excited for SummerSlam, as I've mentioned, but yeah, it felt like everything's kind of done. I got excited with the Seth Drew Punk thing. Everything else feels like it's there. Let's just get to Saturday now, basically. What do you think, Sidge?
I didn't think it was very good. I did not think this show was very good at all. In-ring, there's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Promos and angles I had issues with as well. The thing that I actively thought was most impressive on this show will shock you.
Ooh. Well, we'll get to that.
I've got a weird take. I don't know if I dare admit it.
I think I know what that might be. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll get to it.
Well, the show opened with... the infamous music of...
They all sang it in the arena as well.
Sing along with. Even Punk acknowledges to sing that.
Yeah.
The music was Seth Rollins coming out. He's, of course, the special guest referee for Punk versus Drew at SummerSlam, and he had his special referee shirt with the puffy shoulders and the zebra shoes and all that.
And not even that. He said, this is not even the complete...
This isn't even my final form.
Oh, my God.
He's going to have special gloves or something, I don't know.
All of these clothes, but then a referee's morph suit on top of it. So just with the face cut out or something.
You should do the SummerSlam 2015 outfit with black stripes.
Yeah.
Just come out in a tune top.
Tucked in at the Sean shots.
Connections there.
Didn't we use that for one of the first WCPW shows?
I don't know.
I believe that was... I think I heard that somewhere. They were like...
Inside
got to the day of and someone was like... A referee shirt. Oh, bollocks. Anyway, he calls out the two morons facing each other at SummerSlam. Out comes Punk face-to-face with Rollins. Drew McIntyre comes out and they reference the photo I asked you about. I've sort of been off social media a little bit over the last few days, but I definitely did see Drew McIntyre and Jack Perry together. Yeah. And you told me it's been deleted from the internet, which means it's everywhere.
That's it, yeah. It was, the whole thing felt by design. We all got to have a lot of fun with it. And then, wrestling was like, these guys are working together. Don't be such marks. It's quite fun being a mark.
Yeah,
sorry.
I like getting
Sorry for enjoying the fiction of this.
Anyway, Rollins reminds both of them, don't touch each other or the SummerSlam match is off, and don't lay a finger on me. Punk immediately rolls out of the ring. Drew calls him a coward. And Punk says, I'm not afraid of you or Seth. I'm afraid of what I'm going to do to you if I'm in there. So I'm just going to sit out here next to Pat. Seth says, look, I know you like to call the shots and think you're in charge, everything to be your way, but that's not how this is going to work. Neither will SummerSlam. I don't have to be the ref. I volunteered because you scared off everyone in the back from refereeing your match. I can go back there and take this ridiculous shirt off and the whole thing's off. But I want to see the two of you fight. Get back in here. Drew wants this. The people want this. So Punk calls Seth the bootlicking office boy and gets back in and says, basically, enjoy this power whilst you still have it. Drew says, Seth, don't listen to him. Hey, ours is a professional rivalry. We just want to be the best. Yes, we're both arseholes, but we want what's best for the future of WWE, and it's definitely not Punk. Calls him a cancer, calls him corporate man Punk, says he's down in NXT poisoning the kids' ears down there. He's going to screw all this up. Punk's the real enemy. Seth is stood with Drew throughout this and says, if you're right about one thing, Drew, if there's anyone who hates Punk as much as you, it's me. But if there's anyone who hates Drew as much as Punk, it's also me. So shut up and I can get to the rules and regulations for the violent masterpiece at SummerSlam. And he says, basically, there's only one rule, one regulation. You have to listen to everything I say. I call the shots. I'm the boss. I'm the law. I'm going to count to 3 when I want to. Punk, you're going to tap out. You can do it when I say you can tap out. If there's a count out, and maybe there won't be, maybe I'll count to 10, 20, a million. Disqualifications, referee's discretion. The bottom line is, if either of you get out of line or have a problem with what I say, I'm a spiteful bastard, and I'll put your head in the dirt. Punk's laughing all this off. He says being a ref for you is like a hat on a hat, which, based on the way you dress, you probably like.
Better the first time.
Yeah, he got a big pop at Comic-Con for that, so he was like, I'll have a second bite of that one.
He doesn't believe Seth. He thinks he's a liar, and he says, if you plan on screwing me, there's nothing I can do about that, but I also don't want your help at all. And Drew says, you're worried about the wrong person. You need to be worrying about me, the person you've screwed over again and again. I hate you, he says. You're some kind of Charles Manson who's poisoned the fans' minds. I've spent the last 7 months, I can't believe it's been that long, saying all I had to say. The Rumble, I just wanted to get my hands on you, and I told you tricep, and I wasn't even really trying there. Then you screwed me at Mania in front of my family. What do you think is going to happen on Saturday? The bell is Punk's enemy, because when it rings, he's going to violently assault him.
Love that.
He will blacken both his eyes, break his jaw. He won't stop until Punk's heart does.
Another great line.
And the best thing about it is it's in Cleveland, a stadium show, and he's going to get paid so much money to do something he absolutely would do for free. And then Punk fires back saying, I was away from this company for 10 years and they chanted my name. They chant it again here, of course. And he says they chant my name, they sing Seth's song. Basically, Drew, you're kind of the third wheel in all this. How does that feel? The one thing about Punk derangement syndrome is that you get to be in his orbit to breathe the rare air that he produces. Hope you enjoyed the last 6 months, because hurting me was the best thing to ever happen to your career. It's also the worst thing to ever happen to your career. For everything he has now, how big he is, he's stupid. He keeps doing himself out of position, out of the world title at Mania. He's Drew's enemy, but he's not his worst. But he's going to do the same on Saturday. He's going to be stepping the ring with the best in the world. Look, he's not as tall as Drew. He's not as big or as fast, but he's got heart. And he's got the people chanting his name. And yet again, they chant CM Punk. And he turns to Drew and says, what do you got, Drew? And Drew simply holds up his hand, which of course has Punk's bracelet with AJ and Larry's name on it. And Punk nearly snaps at that moment, but holds himself back and just simply goes nose to nose. What do you make of this as a go-home segment for one of the biggest things at SummerSlam?
Very quickly, because I forget to say it otherwise. When you hear wrestlers talking about footwork, there was a great example of the way that CM Punk stepped to Drew McIntyre, because I genuinely went, oh, geez, and then he didn't hit him. So there was a nice he knew exactly how to move himself as if he was going to strike. And the opposite of how he looked in UFC, realistically.
They alluded to Brett and Taker and Shawn, didn't they?
Yeah, this has been alluding to that, because they're never going to top it, but obviously the pieces are in place and that. This was good and rarely great in a feud that's almost been exclusively great. And that's the reality of it. I don't think there's many 7 or 8 month programs, if you went week by week by week, and found a week where every single interaction was great. Maybe there is, but even off the top of my head, there'll be weeks where...
Punk MJF, I didn't go that long, but...
Do you know what I mean? But there was probably a week at least where you're not the strongest thing in Dynamite this week, but it's always good.
Yeah.
This was good, but it only had a couple of moments where it felt like it was on a par with the other stuff they'd done. The Drew line that Sidge pointed out was terrific. Punk, I did like when he got on the one about you dumbed yourself out of this, you dumbed yourself out of that. It's that great needle that Punk brings that so few others can. Seth hung in there, which is something, because he's not for everybody, but I think he typically does. Sort of still in that hair ruffling stage with Seth, with these guys, and Punk in particular, because he's standing his ground, and I think that bodes well for when the day comes that him and Punk have their singles feud, because every time they've been in the ring, I've really liked Seth, and he's never allowed himself to be eaten alive, and yet at the same time doesn't compromise his inherent fedness. He will still keep the character or do the line or whatever. He backs himself, and I quite like that about him. He doesn't compromise the big wanker he is. He's just he is himself. So this is a feud that's peaked a couple of weeks back, and we're ready. That's probably where I'm at. I just wasn't
this.
running through walls for it like I was the SmackDown Chicago beatdown or the reveal of the bracelet. There's been
the first promo between the three of them.
WrestleMania, the night, a million. That's how great
yeah.
this whole program's been, and this just wasn't like a run through walls week for it.
Bernie Sanders meme for the millionth time. I am once again asking for CM Punk to turn heel.
That's just a PDS.
I'm just done with this babyface character. And yes, he isn't playing a traditional babyface character. I find him so impossible to root for. Like, I genuinely do. I don't think I just think he'd be such a better heel. And considering how the cult of CM Punk has become all the more literally deranged on like his detractors, his sort of supporters, like the fact that CM Punk has been none more CM Punk over the past 3 years, and yet he's only ever played situational heel. He's only ever played heel situationally for a few months or in certain select programs, or like, you know, it's baffling to me that this is the CM Punk we get when everything about him, so much about him, just screams heel to me. I'm desperate to see him embrace that for WWE, to embrace that for one promoter ever, to embrace the fact that there are people who legitimately despise this man. I don't. I'm almost bored with him at this point, but the energy I get from him just screams heel, and like, I just cannot have a rooting interest in it's a tweener feud. It's like, it's more layered than most things, but I kind of have a rooting interest in the guy you're meant to sort of sympathize more with, to a degree. Like, and I've got a game to play, actually, and I'm going to press that button very quickly. But before I do that, it's just the megalomania that seeps out of him. I cannot get it as a babyface, and I refuse to do it. Like when he says things like, you're in the rarefied Punk air and you get to breathe in the same space as me. It's like, Jesus, you're a heel. You know you're a heel. You've always been a better heel. Will someone just turn this guy heel? Because the energy I get from him, I just can't have a rooting interest. And before we play the game, it's mainly a game for the next time he does a promo. Long back and forth like this. It's this. I came up with this morning, so I'm not tweeting it because there's just too much. If this gets, past my usual sort of purview of followers and interactions, I just don't want to deal with those people. I just don't. He is the Sally Field of pro wrestling. It's this naked, desperate narcissism.
Oh, the Oscar speech, Sally Field.
You love me. You really love me. It's like he subsists on it. It's like I cannot reconcile the fact that this dude spent 7 years away from it all. What did he do for those 7 years? Where did he get this validation that he so clearly, desperately, off-puttingly needs? But this megalomania, I can't deal with it anymore, and I'd prefer to see him as a heel.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
CM Punk.
Bingo!
There's things he does in every single promo.
Yeah.
And I would argue that the act is tired. The fact that he's in this context and he's been blessed with the injury, that weird wrestling paradox, means I don't think it's been completely exposed yet. But we're going to play CM Punk bingo. Next time he does something like this, we can all play along at home. Viewers on YouTube, listeners on the podcast, CM Punk bingo. And you're going to get, maybe I'll do a Photoshop, a little thing. Ooh. I've only got 4 so far. I'm once again asking you. Now, I'm soliciting requests to make. How many is in bingo? You could do I don't know, but you could do a nice 9.
Yeah, like a 3
1,
by
2,
3.
3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I've got 4. There's surely more. But here's just the origins of CM Punk.
Bingo!
Okay, let's go. Wait there. Right. Number 1 on the bingo card for the next time this sort of thing happens. Obnoxiously scrunches his face whenever a rival says literally anything to him.
Okay.
You can't get one over on CM Punk. Like, he makes Seth Rollins look like even more of a geek than he is, quite frankly. Ugh, this boring arsehole's talking again. The sarcastic response to literally everything. It's a bit much. I think he chooses scenery and gets in the way, right?
You've got to sell sometimes.
You got to sell sometimes.
Turn taking, you've got to sell.
That's number one, right? Number two, fails to generate a pop with a snarky dig at AEW. Now, he didn't actually do that last night.
That's got to go.
Unless it was a really deep cut. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's embarrassing. It's one of those where it's like, people have said for over 5 years now, it's probably over for AEW when they do it, especially now that they're a distant number two. At least they would get a pop most of the time, and people would know what the hell they're even talking about. I don't think CM Punk's got one so far. He should have realized, oh, all right, okay, not this audience.
Yeah.
He was that sharp, and I believe he is otherwise. Like, he's an incredible pro wrestler. I just want to say this. An incredible pro wrestler who's miscast for me at present. I want to be able to boo him.
It was rare that he wouldn't pick that up. That the one where he name-checked everybody in WWE he wanted to feud with on that SmackDown Tribute to the Troops one, and then did an AEW joke that got nothing. And it's like, maybe I'll fight Kevin Owens, pop Cody Rhodes, Roman, pop, all these people. Oh, maybe.
No one likes it when you punch people in the face.
Yeah, nothing. Maybe I'll get somebody backstage. Nothing. Maybe I'll feud with Karrion Kross. Pop. Like, it didn't matter. He was naming wrestlers on the roster,
So that's 2. 3, draws a CM Punk chant only by telling the crowd to do it. They chant my name. Ugh, desperate. It's like me on MSN Messenger when I was 17. Draws a CM Punk chant only by telling the crowd to do it. They chant my name, as opposed to an incredible soundbite or threat that elicits the chant organically. I don't think he's said something so cool in WWE so far, at least off the top of my head, where it's like, fucking CM Punk. It's always, if you noticed, they chant my name, right? And very quickly, before I get to the fourth thing of bingo, if you would have told me in 2021 that CM Punk and Drew McIntyre would feud in 2024 in WWE, and Drew McIntyre would have the coolest sound bites, I wouldn't have believed you, put it that way.
So maybe he does sell a bit then. Maybe he is a bit more selfless than you.
I just don't think he's got the material. Like, see, Drew McIntyre's had better material.
Punk derangement syndrome's looking pretty real.
I'm just saying, I'm just playing bingo. I'm just having fun. I was playing a game.
Playing a game bingo.
Drew McIntyre's been the better guy in this feud than CM Punk.
I think it's been a good 50. That's been the merit of it. I think it's been both guys have been good.
Better on Twitter, he's better on TV. Number 4, you've got bloody Punk derangement syndrome. You're gonna be
good one.
Yeah, you're gonna be voting for him for office now. You're doing him?
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Shut your mouth. Number 4 on bingo says something that is beyond hypocritical, to the point where it's like, are you living in reality? Right? He referred to Seth Rollins as boot-licking office boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you taking the piss? In 2019, Seth Rollins was the boot-licking office boy. He famously said that WWE is the best pro wrestling on the planet, period. On the eve of Stomping Grounds. And he got main charactered on Twitter. He became a laughingstock, quite frankly. And, he's done very well to actually earn that love of the crowd, not just suck up to them as he was failing disastrously as a babyface. So yeah, 2019, Seth Rollins, bootlicking office boy. That was a great line you could have said at the expense of Seth Rollins 5 years ago. CM Punk is basically saying that he wants to sign a lifetime deal with WWE. He wants to join the corporate structure and run NXT. That he's having the time of his life.
TKO last week.
He put over TKO. He loves the synergy.
Yeah.
He just loves the synergy. He just loves the synergy, right? And he is basically campaigning for an office job. He wants a lifetime deal. He's never been happy yet. He would never have left if this absolute utopia that is Paul Levesque's, Ari Emanuel's WWE, Nick Khan's WWE, if that existed then, he would never have left, guys. And somebody else is a bootlicking office boy. It's like, does he not know that those two things you cannot say both those things at once?
I was genuinely struck.
Drew said it as a follow-up, but it wasn't even, Drew didn't even say it as a counter. He says, you're down in NXT all the time and so on. That didn't even feel like a counter. It was just two things that existed.
This is who you
at
are
the same
at the
time
moment.
somehow.
It struck me that Punk, I think it was the first time that I could remember, because I think that about it gets annoying. Like, the chaos of the Chicago one was brilliant, but that was all no selling at the same time, and you realise an element of cooperation is necessary.
Yeah.
The Brett Shawn comparisons were happening then because that was a Vince McMahon strategy in '97. Just go out there and say stuff and see where it goes. And where'd it go? A shoot fight. That's how that ended, that experiment. It was interesting to me here that Punk, for the first time that I can remember in any of these promos, when he said he was doing it to get at Drew, but he was like, that's why they say my name, that's why they sing his song. He felt like he was gritting his teeth and acknowledged that, Seth's done something right. And I think that was the first time he's maybe actually read the room on Seth Rollins, because I totally agree. I think it's like Seth Rollins has done a very good job.
I think Seth will be the face, by the way.
Yeah, I do too. I think when that comes around, there's a Jeff Hardy, CM Punk 2009 sort of energy about their chemistry where it's just Punk might want to be the face in that scenario, but the fans have chosen their guy, and you've got to occupy that role. And Seth's got more to a vast amount of WWE fans in the building. Seth's got more credit in the bank. He's done the hard yards at times, but he's also done the stuff they've earnestly enjoyed. Punk has had the benefit of being, as a wrestler at least, like he's still got the new car smell because he's only put the tights on TV once. So that's gonna, SummerSlam's still gonna. It's his first singles match on camera. So there's. I think that's why he's a babyface. By the way, I think they would be foolish to have already had turned him heel.
The whole thing of babyface to sell more merchandise, and a wrestler would say, I have more fun as a heel, but I miss that merch money and all the rest of it.
You milk it. Because I agree. I think the long play...
But the potential of Punk and Cody as heels down the road is unbelievable.
The potential of babyface Cody against heel CM Punk. That should headline WrestleMania for me.
What is Triple H's babyface heavy WWE without a heel as good as CM Punk to take it over the top? You had one in Roman Reigns. They're trying to create one in Solo Sikoa. I debate whether it's working on it all day, but that's exactly what they're doing.
I can do it in 2 seconds. No.
But this is it. You create all... Gunther is the best example currently. You create all these baby faces with a view of having unstoppable heels and all that sort of stuff. CM Punk is that down the line. I like him as the baby face here, but I think part of that is because the matchmaking's been good, the booking's been good.
Yeah. No, this has been really good, and I don't want to get it twisted. CM Punk's a genius professional wrestler. At various points in my fandom, one of my absolute favourites. I would happily call him a genius. But I just think he's just said so many things now that mean nothing, and that you can always go back to, why would you say this when you've exposed that new truth as a lie? He's just a heel to me, and I'm desperate to see it at this point. I just do not get this babyface character anymore. You know
how the AEW references die in the building? Do you think that's why less people might not think that way? Because they're just, thinking CM Punk's hypocrite is so plugged into knowing everything about him, knowing about the story. And I think CM Punk, I'm his biggest fan. I think he's a massive hypocrite, right? But you got to know all that. The same people that don't get the AW references might not have any of those pre-existing negative, or have none of the background to go, hang on a minute, but you just did that, or you just did this. They might just think, he's gone away and now he's back. That might be why the AW jokes die. So they might not I don't know. They might just not have that deep-rooted.
True, but it's his demeanor, the sarcasm,
he cannot drop
megalomania. It's always been the Punk thing. You can never not be CM Punk.
Yeah,
but he can't be CM Punk, but someone else, a promoter, can make him a heel, and that's just the direction it needs to go for me.
There's a Sami Zayn. There's a Jey Uso. They'll never be short of heart and sleeve baby faces that will be perfect up against a CM Punk the day that heel turn comes.
I can't wait Saturday. They've made it feel almost like a triple threat in the way that they've now established, Seth. And this is not a great thing to call back to, but I saw someone sharing maybe a week or so ago on social media the bit with Cena as the special guest ref in special guest ref in
what's that?
Orton Wade Barrett, was it, where he slaps both of them? That's not obviously
that was Wade and Punk.
That was it. So I just really like that element of it, and I think they've laid out. Obviously, you pointed this out. You both said this. The Brett Shawn Taker references are not by mistake. There is going to come a moment in that match where, either they're going to do Shawn and Batista with Jericho as the guest referee faked an injury.
Yeah,
they'll either do that or they'll do the classic. You've done too much, I'm going to twat you now at this chair. Oh, bollocks. And Punk's sort of going to be like, well, I'll take it.
It feels as though the smarter booking is the Drew McIntyre win, but I think that's harder to book with Seth Rollins as the referee. So they've created quite a nice
I'll be on the hook for the match.
Yeah, like it's an
Big
unpredictable scenario. The ramifications feel huge because of a rematch or something else even bloodier than Justice for like Bad Blood's on the horizon. So Hell in a Cell feels like a
Bashing Berlin as well.
Yeah, if you wanted to do that, it's massive. I honestly, we mentioned this on the SmackDown review yesterday. You pointed out with Cody Rhodes in a videotaped promo, so they could have cut it. So that's why he sold Sikoa in the main event of SummerSlam. There's a little bit of protecting his spot there because he must know that there are people coming for that spot, and Punk and Drew that's one of the matches. I could make an argument for that main event over both title matches. I don't think it will, but you absolutely could put this on last. I think the heat for it is there.
So we go backstage to the clubhouse. The Judgment Day's clubhouse has been torn apart. Dominik Mysterio's like, who could have possibly done this? What do you think?
It's Liv Morgan.
Carlito is devastated about the PS5 being destroyed. You're going to replace this, right?
So you call this. He loves the story.
I love it, yeah.
We were trying to land on cliched Jezebel stuff from 80s cinema that they would lean on for Liv Morgan being spurned a week prior.
Have you ever seen, or even it's one of those films where it's just come up on Amazon Prime, the included with Prime. I feel like I already know the plot because it's been so referenced and it's entered like the lexicon of just general. Have you ever seen Fatal Attraction?
Yes.
The bunny boiler thing. We're thinking, right, okay, they're obviously not going to boil a bunny on live TV, but that is the cliched sexist trope of the spurned woman who's got kind of keep her emotions in check, and that's how they view women. So Liv Morgan's going to boil a bunny, except they're not going to boil a bunny. So it's an item near and dear to Dominik Mysterio's heart that they could boil or destroy. And I said, the PS5 in the clubhouse, and lo and behold, my cynical projection of WWE being WWE came true. Where is my respect?
Carlito selling it was very funny.
Where was the bit, I might have missed this up with something else, where was the bit where JD McDonough was like, it stinks like Vegemite, and Rhea Ripley was like, I will kill you straight out the gate.
That was here, wasn't it?
Yeah,
when they were just surveying the mess,
Oh, God, it stinks of Vegemite. What's wrong with Vegemite?
Foster's, barbecue shrimp, that sort of stuff. And that's it, that's cock.
In walks a Jack Kangaroo.
Well, we come back to the club.
Jack Kangaroo, my son's Jack, Do you know that? He is.
And get him down the route of the kangaroos kidnapping people's dogs in a second.
James, do this.
So we come back after a break, and Damian Priest comes in, offers to be in Balor's corner, but Balor said, no, I'm all right. You focus on SummerSlam, I'll deal with Gunther. Balor's like, you need to take care of Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And Dom said, why don't Carlito face Sami Zayn? Carlito was like, yeah, I'm going to go and get that match made. And they were all a bit surprised by this, which will lead to something in a while. And then it was time for Otis and Akira Tozawa versus the Creed brothers. Maxine Dupree, of course, in the, I suppose, former Alpha Academy's corner. Chad Gable in the Creed brothers. Creed's appeared in Bloodsport over the weekend.
Julius Creed got good reviews. I've not watched it yet, but I do plan to.
Yeah, that sounds great. Was Shayna in this over the weekend as well?
Headlined it.
Was that the one where... Was this? I saw a clip of her catching a heel kick and tombstone in someone.
Yep, that was the finish.
Anyway,
my MVP turned up to challenge Josh Barnett as well.
Did he?
Yeah,
of course. MVP done up now.
After a break,
what are you doing? Knocking a broadcaster, legendary broadcaster, over on his chair? What are you shitting me? One of the best moments in wrestling history. I'm sorry. It was.
We watched it again the other day, didn't we? Yeah. Anyway, after a break, Otis got a hot tag, got Julius in position, hit the caterpillar. Chad jumps up on the apron, gets knocked off, but the distraction has allowed the Creeds to catch up, and they catch Otis climbing the turnbuckle, hitting with a huge double back suplex off the middle rope. 1, 2, 3. Any words on the match before we get to the angle afterwards?
Not enough. It was just fine. They've
had a bit of fun with it.
They've flushed the Otis thing, haven't they?
And he's really over still.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I know, yeah.
Standing up for WWE. I mean, they should have done... Then again, they're clearly still going to do it. They've never dropped it.
Yeah. It's got the T-shirt on this week.
Yeah.
There's some daft big lads doing some pretty cool spots. I had fun with this.
Yeah, I liked other stuff involving the Creeds more on the show somehow.
They attack Otis post-match. Gable puts him in an ankle lock. Maxine Dupree comes in, jumps on Gable's back. Gable gets her off and then starts yelling at her, basically, and pointing his finger. So she slaps the taste out of his mouth. There's a great photo doing the rounds.
Really well done, all of this.
Yeah.
The tension, the actual slap, the facial expressions. It's the best thing Maxine Dupree's done.
Maxine was basically like, let's have a bare knuckle fight then. But before anything like that can happen, the sound effects, the lights, the Wyatt Sicks are coming. And 3 of them come out and unmasked. And shock horror, it is Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy. This holy chance. Gable is like, I'm not sticking around for this, goes to leave, but he gets hit by Sister Abigail doing a big dive onto him. Lumis and Gacy hit the Creeds with Uranagis, and Eric Rowan hits a running crossbody. Gable's bailing and thinks he's safe, and then Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, appears behind him, so he just legs it in another direction.
Who powerbombed who onto whom again?
It was Joe Gacy doing the Quebecers powerbomb onto Dexter Lumis, and it kicked ass. I thought this was great.
Sorry, I think my elbow's hurting. Oh my God, I think I've been corrupted. I think I've been corrupted.
Oh my God.
Honestly.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
Honestly, this was pretty goated. I felt something.
Yeah.
Supernatural stuff, I don't think it even exists anymore.
Yeah.
Like, doing a Quebec's powerbomb is just an instant
Oh my
in
God.
my book. It looked great.
Because Dexter Lumis can't do much, but it turns out Joe Gacy doing stuff to Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
So I'll be fooled. I'll be worked.
This crossed that frontier of it's all, when that bell rings and the lights come up and the masks go off, it's dead. Or is it more alive than ever? Because this was just moves with a Z, badassery, hosses doing
And then
really
Eric
cool
Rowan.
stuff. And then you got Rowan in the mix. This could not have gone any better to convince the cynics like me who are just not into this sort of thing in brackets. I was stunned by how cool I thought the mask off, getting in the ring. I was projecting disaster, holding up my hands. If they can do this for like a match length and it's still as cool as that little burst of action was, this is going to be a big act. And I'll tell you something now. I know he didn't do much except get a move done to him onto another wrestler for a split second. I don't know if it's because Rowan is so large and Joe Gacy's, he ain't no cruiserweight. I genuinely thought, did they replace Dexter Lumis with someone who can move?
Yeah. No, yeah. I
Because
agree.
he looks completely different, radically different.
Like a spring in his step, didn't he?
He actually looked vaguely dynamic. He's correct. Before, like, to actually get in a position for that, I was like, when did he learn how to move? He's always had that. He's always had an incredible physique. Has he completely leaned out?
Maybe.
Yeah, like maybe a little bit. That could be part of it.
I know this is the briefest evidence imaginable, but oh my God, I couldn't believe how cool this was. Genuinely couldn't believe how cool it was. I thought they'd replaced Dexter Lumis in the act with somebody else because that man, on the 5 seconds of evidence we got, was literally unrecognizable in terms of the way he moved and the way he looked. This is badass.
Oh my God.
What I found frustrating was how, after watching this,
I still wish it was anybody else but them three.
I agree.
Well, right, I do and I don't, because fundamentally I agree. I think it's been the worst possible launch for that stable. But, oh my God, the segment's been great, but how is it going to deliver in the match? Oh, just against maybe the 3 of the best in-ring
Yeah,
wrestlers
that's a
on the
good point.
So they're kind of perfect for that bit of it, just a bit of a nightmare for their own launch. So even that, I can sort of wave off what I don't like about how they've come together, because this segment was class. And then if it was, it would be like maybe Otis and Akira Tozawa, right, as examples. Had it been them, let's pretend they're heels and the Wyatts are massive baby faces, and Otis and Akira Tozawa tag match is not going to be as good. And then the segment is just going to be a segment and the match isn't going to have follow-up. And then there we are, still waiting with claws out to be like, well, the segment was good, but that was smoke and mirrors. They couldn't do it when the bell rang. You kind of fancy them to do it when the bell rings because it's Chad Gable and the Creeds. So they're there by design now, rather than just, this feels a bit awkwardly mashed together. No, it's for the actual thought into the quality of preserving this good feeling around them as long as possible. And to that end...
What a rollout. What a rollout.
What a rollout, yeah. To that end, my thoughts that the next target was possibly going to be Jey Uso because of all the Firefly stuff for the...
No, these guys can betray you.
Yeah.
You want Jey Uso dragging down,
drag it down.
Bo Dallas and Dexter Loomis? I'm not taking the pin.
No, he's not enough of a wrestler to be in that feud, and they're two big baby faces now to go against another baby face. Like, line the working heels up. Line up friggin' Bron Breakker and Ludwig Kaiser. More great wrestlers to help get these okay ones, or keep them as over as they are, as baby faces, because that appears to be the move. This was terrific stuff.
This was hide the positives, conceal the negatives. I didn't think Levesque had it in him. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's some law dude who's mapping all this out. In fact, I think that's almost certainly the case.
There was some law, capital L-O-R-E, later on the show as well for Nikki Cross's thing, because they put the thing in the background again, the Wyatt Sicks logo behind Dakota Kai, and obviously she turned on Bayley, hadn't she? So that might be like Nikki Cross's first physical element as well, who as well was good here in the small dose. Super impactful.
After that, Dom and Rhea are annoyed because Carlito's booked Dom in the match against Sami Zayn. And Ripley's like, right, you're going to take out Jey. And Carlito's like, I need to go and get my baby oil first. And she said, you're going to do this by yourself, by the way. More on that later, because that didn't happen. But anyway, what followed was Sheamus versus Bronson Reed. Hard-hitting stuff, as always, between these two. Flying clothesline from Sheamus to the outside, and Reed back body dropped him onto the announce table that just didn't move. Good. That took us to a break. Sheamus fights back with clotheslines and a running knee for 2, but he missed a flying clothesline and got hit with a Death Valley driver by Bronson Reed. Sheamus comes back with a white noise off the middle rope for a near fall. He does the beats of the Bodhrán, like 15 of them basically. The referee pulls him off. But whilst he does that, Reed's got his foot stuck in the ropes. And the referee's trying to help. Sheamus is setting up in the corner for a bro kick. And obviously with the ref distracted, Pete Dunne just twats Sheamus with a shillelagh. He's perfectly in position for Bronson Reed to hit the tsunami and get the 1-2-3.
Match was fine. Whatever. The Pete Dunne Sheamus feud, it's not like a prerequisite that week 1 you have to be in love, enamoured with a program. You can see it, and I'm not sure about this. And then 2, 3, 4, then you start to get it, and then you start to see the vision. I've just said it with the Wyatts and the Creeds and Chad Gable. I'd like to get into Sheamus and Pete Dunne more than I am, and sooner, because it already feels like something that you can picture how invested Triple H is in it. God, they're really tough and hard, and Sheamus is from Ireland, and Pete Dunne's from England, and growling as he writes it down.
Pete Dunne's tough enough.
Hell yes, he's tough.
Hell yes, he's tough enough. Oh, that's over in the office, by the way. Get used to it.
Growling as he's writing it down.
I just realised why that is. Brilliant.
And I just feel nothing for it.
I feel nothing.
I think he's going to get a huge reaction in Berlin because they're thinking European.
He had the exact same thought of do that match in
where that match
Berlin.
Lives,
It's where that lives.
And in the interim, where else could these two have an interaction, of course? The Great American Bears.
Oh, I Pete Dunne's everywhere. I want to be with you everywhere. Oh.
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood.
Tell me lies.
The sweet little lies.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a match, spoiler alert, next week between Trick and Pete Dunne. Because we've got 2 weeks of the Great American Bears.
Oh, God, I'm going to listen to f***ing Dreams on the way home, you know. Yeah. That bass lick, when the lyric is wrapped around your, and like the bass actually, oh my God, it's the best. It's the best.
Talking about the Great American Bash later.
I'm talking about Fleetwood Mac, man.
On NXT. Good sort of babyface promo from Damian Priest next. Talked about Gunther not understanding his upbringing. He had all the, here you goes, you want the best training facility, you want the best training team, here you go. Load of people telling him how great he is, here you go. He didn't have heart, he said. Gunther may call him street trash, but that translated to him.
What's happened to him? Where is he?
I hope he's all right.
Puerto Rican badass, that's what he heard when he was called street trash. And Gunther was an asshole, effectively. The ring's going to become the street at SummerSlam. Gunther's getting mugged. and he was going to rob Gunther of the idea that he could take the title from him. He fought for everything he got. He's willing to die for everything he had. Welcome to my neighborhood. I like this.
Me too. They've really found something between Damian Priest and Gunther, and I just didn't think they'd manage it. I didn't think they'd get anything beyond.
You did, Dr. Fed.
I guess I did.
I didn't.
I did in my heart, but not in my head. And they have done. I think there's a case. I think Gunther should win.
Yes.
But there is a case for him not to in order to win it in Berlin. And the part of thinking that case exists is because of the job they've done in creating the divide between the two men and Gunther's follow-up later on and everything he's done. It was Gunther really that set this up a few weeks ago with that that brutal one he cut on Damian to bring this out of him. Yeah, good stuff. Good booking between these two.
Yeah, I continue to be really impressed. This was a bit retready, but they've established a really cool conflict. So, I mean, it's go home fair. I'm not electrified, but I was really electrified and shocked to the extent a few weeks ago. So, okay, let's go.
Yeah, it was a bit like, you've got the match already, Gunther. You don't need to like bait him into it by being really
Yeah.
He's just a bastard.
Yeah.
He's not a nice man.
Bit of a retread, but a retread of a good thing.
And it's really helped. That's helped Priest make that hard turn of being like, rather than just like, oh, Judgment Day just help him win every match, basically.
Yeah, and so it's the final beat of that long-term story as well.
They talk about the SummerSlam pre-show. It's going to be 3 hours long.
What?
I think are they doing like sit-down interviews and stuff as part of it though, rather than just, I assume, throw into video packages or whatever?
And no one's going to watch it. So
I was going to say the hosts probably want that. Yeah,
and no one's going to watch it. It's fine. It's still insane.
that is bananas. Yeah.
Then they air a pre-taped Bron Breakker promo. Whenever he's on, I'm always looking like going, I think you've done it with a fake tan, mate. I don't think you need to do it anymore. Just hold on for a bit. It's amazing. But he talks about Zayn being the top of his profession, which I thought, do you know what? That's nice from Bron Breakker. And then he said stand-up comedy, and I was like, that's not his job.
He's comparing it with Jeff Hardy.
Didn't make it to the top of my profession.
Jeff Hardy is a star. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? I haven't, because I'm not of this earth.
What's the deal with airline food, man?
What's the deal with tinfoil? It's not structurally sound.
Anybody else looking forward to Halloween?
Knock, knock.
Who's there, spooky ghost?
And I never know, man. Changes from one day to the next.
Till you open that door, you never know who could be behind it, man.
They say comedy is about timing, but which time zone?
So anyway,
Probably worse. Who's...
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
More, it's not really a game. How I pressing that button? Who would be a worse stand-up comedian, Undertaker or Jeff Hardy?
Oh.
For me, I think it's probably Jeff, you know.
The clips of Taker's podcast, I'm like,
You're
like it
a
when
mark
you do
for
this.
the
I don't like it when you
about
do
him.
this. You do that. You've done this bit for years on the news. It's a good podcast, not as good as ours. You've never done that about the Undertaker's podcast because you can't say it, can you?
I see these
Seen it
clips on
now.
like Instagram reels or whatever.
Is he tapping you up? Is this what's going on? Are you getting DMs from the
crossover.
DM, mate? Yeah.
And that'd be funny.
DM
Like,
stands for dead man.
a tall redhead. And you never see them in the same room. Adam Wilborn and Mark Calloway.
He doing one dead man show.
Think about it. He doesn't really like AEW that much. He's a WWE guy, tall, redhead.
Hate sharks.
Punch him with your wife.
How are you with Domino's? You like a Game of Thrones?
Do you know what? I'm a bit partial to a Game of Thrones. Now you mentioned it.
Cucumbers.
No, that's the. There you go.
like
I love a cucumber.
I love a
mate.
cucumber
Yeah.
as well.
Bottle of Jack?
No, you see, I'm not a.
All right.
not a
Not a
whiskey
spirits guy. Spirits?
guy. A gin, but not. No, I'm not a whiskey guy. So that's why.
That's why you're not the Undertaker.
Yeah,
That's hard evidence.
Guns? No.
We're in wrestler's court and the case was falling apart, it would appear. Thought we had you.
But anyway, Bron says, I took you lightly because I thought.
Impersonating the dead man.
Guilty. Get my gavel, Bradshaw.
He took him lightly at Money in the Bank because he didn't want to put his hands on a comic, says Bron Breakker. But now the difference between them, Zayn's already accepted he's going to lose at SummerSlam. There's nowhere to run. He's basically, Zayn's already preparing for life outside of the WWE. They even promote his comedy show on Raw. Whilst Zayn's doing all that, Braun's training in the gym like a dog. And that's going to be on full display on Saturday. The joke's going to be on Zayn, and the Intercontinental Championship is going to be on me.
Hang on. Is Sami Zayn doing stand-up comedy?
Yeah,
like,
this was
right, okay.
bizarre corporate synergy, because this was fine.
They have mentioned Sami Zayn and friends a bit.
He did one before Money in the Bank, and it went down so well, he's going to do another one over SummerSlam weekend. And just very, very strange corporate synergy, because it is tied to the program between the two. It's not.
Can you imagine this under Vince?
Well,
let's put over your comedy show.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'd be Bron Breakker in a mock comedy thing with wrestlers forced to sit there while he did a tight five or something on an erected stage. It'd kill Bron Breakker forever. So this is what I mean. It was it's just strange corporate synergy, but it was at least tethered to the feud, so you could sort of allow it until the friggin' graphic flashed up. I get it. Sami Zayn's doing a show. Thank you.
Skip that bit.
Jey Uso versus Carlito.
Yeah, I get the gist. That's what I do sometimes.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm the gist getter.
I was kind of that with the Jey Uso Carlito match, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, Jey Uso's hugely over. Everyone loves every single thing that he does, but we all know what's about to happen here.
Wrestling Carlito's a test of that for anybody. You can hold a rock in there with him. Speed up
Get
a bit.
a bit
lads. Come on, get to the finish.
Jey, out of character at one point, fought back with strikes, to which people chanted yeet. Carlito hit a spine buster for 2 and thought, well, this is the time to get the apple ready.
Ridiculous.
I like this.
He gets schoolboyed and then speared, and they do the apple flying in the air. That was good. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's crap. Carlito's selling in this was absolutely comical. It wasn't meant to be either. They were meant to do the big, visual gag with the apple. That was meant to be funny. His selling here was he must have been absolutely buzzing. First of all, when he wakes up, oh God, I'm Carlito, I'm hired. It's 2024. Didn't expect this, so that's fine. And then he's like, right, you got Jey Uso, right? Okay. So what do I need to do here? I stand there for about 10 seconds at a time doing nothing. While he does his dancing before he does does a punch and the crowd chants yeet, and then you want to instead of bumping, you don't like to do, and you're not very good at Carlito, just kind of fall down incrementally.
Yeah,
it's sure thing.
He's because he always phoned it in, Carlito, but now he's testing how long distance the call can really do. What can I get away with here? I kind of respect it, but he sure is a boring wrestler and mostly always was.
Yeah.
Zelina Vega gets interviewed by Jackie Redmond backstage. She's got her arm in a sling, obviously. She's thankful for Lyra Valkyria, Kayden Carter, and Katana Chance being at her side last week. She did win, of course. She said she reminded everyone she was a threat. And then, of course, the heel stable, Sonya, Shayna, and Zoey show up. You think you're a threat. You only won when you had people in your corner for you, basically. They beat her up, hold her arm in position, and basically just stamps the crap out of it. And they bail. Officials come in to check on Zelina, and of course, too late, Lyra and Carter and Chance appear.
This is the kind of stuff where I understand completely, even when I disagree, the criticisms of Triple H. Because the fundamentals here are absolutely fine. You are simultaneously trying to establish a trait about your babyface. Zelina Vega's done nothing for ages. Suddenly she's a fiery babyface that's going to fight through injuries, and she knows how to win when she's up against it. And you're trying to get over this stable of shooters, effectively, that'll break your arms and submit you and tap you out.
The Ministry of Starkness.
The perfect name.
Amazing.
But it's all pretty drab. But you're doing the right thing on both sides. It's just not that interesting.
I'm bored.
Well, get excited because they hyped up NXT next and
I forgot it was Tuesday, man.
Put over Joe Hendry. Of course, live concerts tonight.
It's the weirdest thing. We'll preview that, and I'm actually excited about that element of NXT. But it was the weirdest thing yesterday. I almost lost my rag a bit because it's a Monday. Bear in mind, it's a Monday. I am not contractually obligated to talk about NXT or think about it. Right? I'm sat there, just getting on with my work, just writing a list. General WhatCulture things. And then Hamflet just pipes up. Sage, yeah? Do you think Thea Hale's going to dethrone Roxanne Perez for the title? I just kind of snapped a little bit.
Do you think I'd come into the office?
I felt a bit bad, and I said, what the f*** are you talking to us about that on a Monday for? It's Monday. Why are you asking? What did you expect me to answer?
Thinking about it. I got 24 more hours. Come on. It was quite. I was like, you know what? I'm not really giving this the time it deserves. Can't he'll get it done? I was like, is there anybody that's the worst person in the known universe? I think it might be Michael Sidgwick.
Why?
Well, now you've had 24 hours to mull that over. We'll get your response on the NXT preview later.
It was great as well, because then it's like, we're in Bit City. Because then, of course, if Roxanne Perez loses, she goes to the main roster, isn't that right, Sid?
That's a good point.
And he flipped his entire desk and
Raw, SmackDown? No. They showed clips from the Japan tour, and then it's quite funny what happened next. The Miz was getting interviewed by Kathy Kelly, and he reveals he's going to be the host for SummerSlam, because it's in his house, Cleveland. And R-Truth appears, and he says, oh, great, they've brought back in your house. And he's like, no, it's in my house at Cleveland. He's like, you're going to have everyone in your house in Cleveland? He's like, that's not what he's saying, you bloody idiot. I'm sick of our friendship, Ron. This is every conversation, and it's too much. I haven't even got the tag titles anymore.
Why am I still here?
He's making hors d'oeuvres, though, eventually. Yeah. I did like Kathy's... the way she handed it back. She said something along the lines of, well, Marks the Miz considers what hors d'oeuvres he's going to have for SummerSlam. Back to you guys.
Yeah.
But we had a news story in the afternoons today, Sidge, where, have you heard about this? The greatest promo of his generation?
Have you seen this?
What's going on?
Hey,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game!
A wrestler said, I'm the greatest promo of my generation, and wished to prove it by saying, so I should go against the greatest promo of his generation, The Rock.
It was Enzo Amore.
It was Enzo.
Bingo! What is it? What is it with terrible wrestling rappers who don't understand what a promo is, and it's the thing that they think they're the best in the world at? Have you ever seen Enzo Amore, who can be entertaining on the mic, which is a different thing? Have you ever seen Top Dollar sell you on a match? Enzo Amore really sell you on a match.
Yeah.
Or a storyline, or something that could actually draw money. He's a good...
His acting when Big Cass turned him was legitimately quite impressive. He looked heartbroken, like the puppy that Big Cass was about to kick, basically. But yeah, I know what you mean. It was more about just...
promo class.
Talking rather than selling.
Then again, you know what? If I'm over WrestleMania weekend, that's had its day. Someone's going to wrestle. A wolf? That kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I didn't see that.
That was actually going to happen. That was actually going to happen.
A wolf in a skate park. That's all right. It was really scary.
If
yeah,
GCW decides to do Enzo Amore versus Simon Gotch, I'm watching that.
Yeah. It's huge.
I'm watching that. So yeah. He didn't try it sells on a match though. That's the difference.
Yeah. Well, now he's trying to sell you on The Rock. Rock and Enzo finally. Just one more.
But speaking of great promos, Karrion Kross cut one before his match with Xavier Woods.
So close, but so far. I'm greatness this.
He said, I hear Kofi Kingston's not here because he re-injured himself on the Japan tour. I don't believe that. I think he doesn't want to be here because he knows you're the one in the spotlight, Xavier. Also, he probably doesn't want to be in this hellhole of Minnesota.
And who was backstage from
I know.
They linked it sort of because they immediately afterwards, I should say, mentioned that Jesse Ventura was there with Triple H, and Cole put him over and welcomed him home, which was a nice touch, obviously, with if you haven't seen it, I don't know, the Karrion Kross, Chris Van Vliet interview, where he just drops the greatest Jesse Ventura impression you've ever seen.
Out of nowhere.
Golden opportunity missed this. They are trying as hard as they can to get Karrion Kross over, as are we.
Again.
As are we. And this was a golden opportunity missed to not send Ventura out there. Like when, how
is there a single person, I know we're doing a bit here.
Yeah.
Is there a single person in that building who knows who Jesse the Body Ventura is?
Not. And if not, when he walks out there, says something in his voice, he's got all that sort of like prestige. It's Hall of Famer Jesse Ventura or whatever. And then Karrion Kross just imitates him and turns his words against him. You bastard. And then Xavier Woods makes a save or something. Yeah. As soon as he started negging Minnesota, I thought, here we go. No.
Anyway, he offers Xavier a spot in the Final Testament. All he has to do is tell the kids at home that the power of positivity is a lie, always has been. And also tell that one-armed bastard Kingston he should have retired after he lost the title in 6 seconds. Obviously, Xavier Woods snaps at this, attacks him, Ref calls for the bell. Go back and forth. Woods starts making a comeback. Akam, because the rest of the Final Testament obviously are out there, hits him behind the ref's back with a cheap shot, but Woods still fights back, takes out Akam with a dive, avoids a charge by Razar, who runs into the ring post. But Kross manages to dodge a diving elbow drop from Xavier Woods and hit the final prayer for the 1-2-3.
What I love and hate about
this
Karrion Kross character. Like, what does he want, really? I can't discern what he wants. Does he want Xavier Woods, this man he beats and this man who loses, to join him? Does he just
He did say that explicitly.
Yes, but then why does he continue?
This group's not quite big enough.
Yeah.
I want to introduce you to a program. It's called All Elite Wrestling, Dynamite. Recruitment is big deal in wrestling. Strength in numbers.
Yeah, I guess. But like, I've strengthened my troops with a man who I have proven to be a loser week after week after week. I hate that wrestling just does wrestling stuff.
He could be like, I need someone to play the trombone whilst Paul Ellering cackles in the background whilst wearing one glove. So
then just say
Love
it.
that, don't
Love weird little 80s guys. Love it. Final Testament, better than the Bloodline.
I'd happily have the 1 hour.
But pre-Jake and Fatu, there were certainly.
Yeah.
But Jake and Fatu. Did you see the last 2 minutes of a 38-minute gauntlet match featuring Carlito?
I haven't watched SmackDown from Friday.
Don't.
Just watch that. Watch that and
Just watch
Beast More to us.
Just watch Jake and Fatu.
Oh, of course.
And the Beast More to us on Collision.
Paul Ellering could bring back Rocco, and that could be the Final Testament's Tonga Loa.
Yeah.
I did see he was wearing an eye
Rock was
patch.
more animated.
Yeah, he said, Kevin Owens up the iron, he couldn't do the, like, he's wearing an eye patch. WWE keep coming up with the way to not put Tonga Loa in matches. Like, take 3.
Sami Zayn gets interviewed backstage after all this. He says, "You think
I
I'm?"
thought you just don't throw a comment for the Karrion Kross match.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
That says more than my analysis ever could.
I suppose, yeah. He says, "You think I'm going to lose because I've got
There's
a
just
comedy show."
literally no point.
He says, "You think I'm going to lose because I've got a comedy show before SummerSlam? I had a comedy show before Money in the Bank and still won." So,
Joke's on you.
Get some game show hosts, because that's a real quiz.
I know you're not underestimating me because you've taken every opportunity to jump me from behind. Talked about reuniting with Jey Uso and said Saturday's not going to be about teaching lessons. It's going to be about beating ass, basically.
He's not going to, but I like this promo enough, yeah.
It's all right.
Bron wins.
It's all been a bit disappointing for me.
Bron gets a beat. Yeah.
This Sami Zayn Intercontinental title run. Such a great start.
Oh. But from lessons to riddles. Because for the first time ever, I think,
Yeah.
it's time for a very different version of the Raw Riddle.
Raw Riddle gives me the creeps.
Over to you.
Over on yesterday, in the interest of retention that we try and keep, found a website called 117 Riddles for Children.
Whoa, Billy Big Bollocks over here.
Because I know yours was...
101, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
I keep forgetting just type in Raw Riddle in my computer.
I did Raw Riddle. I was like, why is this not just a page of riddles? You ready?
Yes.
What has...
Oh, he's confident. He's revving up the bingo button.
Well, he should be, because you seemed like you got it straight away.
Yeah.
If it's based on anything like I've done, it's either you've got the right answer, but you've not got the right one I've got written down, or you just got the right answer.
I think, this could go that way. What has many teeth but cannot bite?
I went to a zipper, but I don't want to give you...
Same. And it was Zip.
Yeah, bingo. Yeah! I also would have accepted comb.
Comb.
Adam Nicholas.
Have you? You've seen there's something about Mary.
Yeah.
Right. I've lived in fear of me slicing my cock in half.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's happened in real life. People have got stories about it.
That was too effective, that, wasn't it? Too effective.
What if he did it? Like, so it can't bite. A zip can't bite. It's bitten balls before.
That's bitten balls. Let's go with comb.
Like every single, it's a really good PSA for that to happen because, like, I mean, the gross out gag when you do the close up, it's awful.
Oh, it's gone.
It's so awful.
Don't Google it.
Like every single time I know I've got a zip, I'll just be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Nope.
Didn't looking for the image.
Yeah.
He is. I can see the light.
There it is.
It bites balls. Oh my God, my zip bit my balls.
Oh, my balls. So it does.
Yeah, we'll go with comb then.
Cool.
Can you use jizz as hair gel or?
I'm more of a hairspray guy. I haven't used hair gel since I was like in the 90s.
I've got Matt Clay, which sounds like
Who's he?
It sounds like an NXT wrestler, doesn't it?
Yeah. Gotta level up.
Yeah.
He sounds like the most boring guy. Yeah.
Very appropriate, yeah, because the way they mold.
Matt Clay.
NXT to be moulded.
Matt Clay. He's you think the American Indies are dead? No. No. What Matt Clay does is that he operates in the space between moves, and I think he really knows ball because Matt Clay, he's coming out of deadlock, and deadlock's good. I'm not being a dick. Like if you can do that much with an arm drag, then you're Matt Clay, and there are many maximalist wrestlers who do a study in Matt Clay. Simple arm drag.
Guys, collision. Kyle O'Reilly versus Matt Clay. Finally.
Oh yeah.
You referenced Liv Morgan earlier. This is where we saw her.
The epic moments of the result.
She's putting pictures of Dom into a burning dumpster, basically, or a burning
She's
bin.
crazy.
Burning dumpster. Like, we should have, in the picture in the fire.
She said, Dom's not a man, he's just Rhea Ripley's bitch. She regretted every tear she shed over him. She's going to complete her revenge tour when she beats Ripley and leaves Dom with whatever's left of her. And she's finally going to hear those three little words, Women's World Champion. She cackles with tears falling down her face.
Right. What's going on here?
Something's happening. Like, who's zooming who?
That's the thing. Is anyone zooming who? Or, what Occam's razor is? Right. Isn't it Occam's razor, which is just a theory where the most likely outcome is almost invariably the correct one. So don't look, it's a bit of a, there's nothing beautiful about the universe and all the rest of it. Wouldn't Occam's razor dictate that WWE has just decided to portray one of its women characters as a spurned Jezebel who's gone crazy?
Yeah.
Rather than, because there was the smile once Liv realized that she's got Dominik in trouble with Rhea, and Rhea is now more preoccupied with what Dominik's up to than getting the title back. And it felt like there was a sophisticated game going on. She's rapidly become a caricature of an 80s steamy thriller.
Finn Balor was the most interesting element of all this to me. They got the tag belts out of it. It was...
it still might be all right. Who knows?
Yeah, like that was where I thought this was all headed as part of Damian Priest losing his title, Rhea Ripley, who was most closely aligned to Damian Priest, not getting her title back, Liv and kind of Finn Balor coming to some arrangement where they got everything they wanted out of it and sod the rest of them. That appeared to be, and maybe it still is, there's no reason why it couldn't still pay off that way. They've not blown any of it, I don't think. They've not put a plot point in that means that would make sense, but that has gone a touch quieter.
Yeah, it could easily just be Dominik Mysterio's a thick idiot who kept accidentally helping Liv win matches.
Because he was an easy pawn for them to yeah.
Or, they just do the complete thing of like, no, Mammy never really showed me the right attention or whatever, and I've been pretending this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm into the match. I'm excited to see it.
I want the SummerSlam payoff. I'm ready for the next bit of it. They've got me to the point where I do want that payoff, and then I want to see where this trash goes next.
Trash.
It's trash.
It's trash.
I love it. It's trash like burning in the dumpster.
Dom was in action following this against Sami Zayn.
Wasn't good.
Yeah, it went to a DQ as well. Zayn popped up from some Three Amigos or whatever after there was Carlito and McDonough who ran out for a distraction early on. Dom's going for the 619, sorry. And instead, Zayn hit a clothesline, a blue thunder bomb, set up for the Helluva Kick. Well, before he can even set up for it, in comes the Judgment Day to attack for the DQ. They beat him up. Jey Uso makes the save, though, takes them all out with a dive. But whilst all that's going on, Braun Breaker seizes yet another opportunity to attack Sami Zayn. He went for a spear, but Zayn booted him. Zayn went for a Helluva Kick. Braun bailed, then tried to get back in. And then it was all a bit of a schmoz as he was trying to get knocked out. He got knocked over the top rope eventually.
just an inferior sequel to last week in that they've done a decent job of folding Zayn and Jey into the Judgment Day in order to get a tag title shot that they might win, and that could be amazing. And keep the Bron Breakker Sami thing going just long enough because that's presumably going to be done and dusted at SummerSlam. But is there anything more awkward than the wrestler not getting over the top rope when they should, and all of us sitting there watching and pretending that time isn't just standing still?
Yeah,
it's hard. Looks tough, but it's excruciating.
One more thing that is a little bit not as awkward, but my God, the drop kick to the back to send Sami draped into the 619 setup was just weak as piss.
Yeah,
I just hate him. You know what I mean? Like he's a good stooge heel actor, Dominik, but my God, he can't be that soft because then he compromises what the baby face looks like.
I think if in doubt, he holds back rather than laying it in, and he should probably try it the other way. See how much trouble he gets in for it afterwards. Rather,
if Sami's just worked Bron Breakker, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah.
He had like a career-long rivalry with Kevin Steen. I think he can take a drop kick to the back, like.
A bit like we got with Eric Rowan. There was like a character profile piece. Obviously, never going to be as good as Eric Rowan's one is, but this one was Dexter Lumis's. They built an empire next, then watched them drown. But there's freedom in sinking. Look at what he's become. What should they do when the buzzers start circling? Run.
This was a load of nonsense, but the physical angle was good. Like I tried to listen to this, I'm thinking they're just words.
I quite like the...
What are they meant to say about Loomis?
Yeah.
He's a bit spooky, so he's in the spooky group. That's legitimately the only reason why he's in here.
Big old cock as well.
Yeah.
Massive knob, and they let him get away with murder.
1.5 inches. But she said it.
Yeah.
I quite like...
And he's got
the Kazani look that I quite like now.
He's got an unreal amount of sexual stamina as well. We only did the roll out of the Johnnies.
Yep.
There's at least 20 on that.
Johnny's Gargano. I got him right here.
So you can come a lot.
That's the superpower.
Wasn't that one of the names of one of the National Lottery machines?
Come a lot.
Come along, Quimavir.
Take Sir Arthur himself to remove Dexter Lumis from Indy Hartwell. Hey, they were riding like rabbits. Stop me.
They were.
Stop me. It was them too.
But they're still happily married, aren't they?
I don't know. Yeah,
she
dropped
said
that thread. She said it's all annulled.
She said pretty much divorce or annulment after the original massacre angle.
It's good because I didn't like it. Remember when Dean Ambrose was just going end of the run, saying the worst things, and they kept being like, "Renee, what's going on here, mate?" She's like, I'm just doing co-commentary.
Makes sense.
It's complete. Your husband, can you?
Makes sense. It's complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
But Chad Gable has been paying attention, and he reveals to Postman Pierce the three Wyatt family, Wyatt Sicks members, Loomis, Gacy, and Rowan. Postman Pierce is like, yep, they're under the WWE contract. Gable says, aha, that must mean that he can compete, and sets up a 6-man tag. And Pierce is like, that's what you want. And Julius was like, yep. So that's official for next week.
Sounds sci-fi.
That's a nice bit of ECW law.
It's a bit of ECW law. I would have saved it for the week after me.
Yeah, well, but I guess maybe they like the sci-fi element as much as they're willing to sacrifice a number on it because it's going to be they can't get a big number, can they? Because it's not in as many homes, and we know there's Americans in those remotes. Yeah. I can't find Raw. Oh, well, I guess it's not on this week.
Click up.
Yes. TV got, there you go.
Arrow pointing up. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, no sci-fi.
Guys, big news. Did you know that the longest running weekly episodic show in history is finished now? Because it's not on. It's not on USA, so it can't be on. He thought they made a big deal of it. He thought they made a big deal about Raw having a season finale for the first time in 13 years.
People in the Gunsmoke offices. Yeah!
What?
Sorry, it's on sci-fi.
I know you're doing a bit, but that must think that.
Yeah.
Oh, it ain't no Raw.
I miss that wrestling.
Whatever happened to this business? Seriously, I can't see it no more.
I guess I'll just have to go back to my Wednesday night Big Bang Theory viewing. What the hell? They got new wrestling on.
What's that?
Quick, Jericho's here.
I haven't seen that man in 10 years.
What the hell happened to him?
He's been here 10 seconds. Why is he still around?
Get my axe. We got a tree to cut down.
Rhea responded to Liv's promo.
Thanks, majority of our audience.
Says her revenge tour comes to an end on Saturday. No more hiding, no more manipulating. She took 3 months of her career, took her title, and tried to take her Latino heat. She's going to get her revenge at SummerSlam.
Yeah, fine.
A woman's match? Oh, just one. That's good.
Thank God.
Oh, thank God.
6-woman tag next. Sonya Deville, Shayna
Imagine
Baszler.
if it was last week. This bear only got 2 rings.
Hang on. Is it Tony Storm? Who's that? Have I gone back in time?
Smashing the top of the telly.
It's broken. What's going on with this thingamajig?
Maybe that's what the card said. Oh, the telly's too old for a remote. Didn't come with one. Back to the radio we go.
It was the Ministry of Starkness versus Lyra Valkyria and, well, not that fresh from the club because they were in a backstage segment earlier, but Carter and Chance.
And they're on the way to the club.
Good point. They love to have fun. But they weren't having fun here. They did triple team Zoey Stark at one point, and Valkyria hit a sit-out powerbomb, but Baszler broke up the cover. They managed to stop them from hitting the after party as well. And then Stark just nailed Chance with a knee strike and hit the Z360 on Carter for the 1-2-3. The big story, I suppose, was the post-match because here comes Damage Control. Io Sky, Kairi Sane, Dakota Kai came out and attacked the heels. Sky hit a moonsault to the outside, so they're back and they're baby faces.
They're just over in Triple H's imagination because they're not over, are they?
No.
Like, they're not. There wasn't much of an effort to turn them babyface. They've changed their look slightly, but not that much that if you hadn't been watching, you wouldn't have noticed.
I hate that song as well.
This theme's dreadful.
And the damage control.
Damage control. This is
Controlling the damage and damage control.
it's really flat. Really flat.
Later on, Dakota Kai challenged Sonya so she could cut the head off the snake.
Could be all right, that.
Yeah.
I could?
Sonya Deville and Dakota Kai. Could
No.
be all right, that. No. Giving it no chance.
Well, just like Sonya Deville, I've seen her wrestle. She's not the same. Like, she's had the brief glimpses of in-ring activity I've seen out of her over the past few weeks. Not so good.
Long breaks have been difficult.
Yeah. I sympathise with her, definitely. But
God, yeah.
still not
Just
good.
thinking of the injuries, but yeah.
Yeah.
Gunther had a promo and all this as well. He called Damian Priest a man with no control over his emotions. He said he exposed him as an emotional wannabe who abused Prisoner, as a cure for his childhood trauma. He used to look up to Finn Balor, who used to be one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, and to be fair, was one half of the tag team champions. He was destined for greatness, but he aligned himself with the Judgment Day weirdos and became street trash just like them. He's never going to forgive Priest for...
Do it for the weirdos, Miz. Remember that?
Yeah.
One of us. The straight-laced guy ever.
The world after SummerSlam is going to remember
Most straight-laced
the day.
Michael in the world that includes me.
Gunther's going to save this great sport and save the World Heavyweight Championship.
He's locked in and he
It was empty arena thing, I should have mentioned,
Yeah.
He's just in this.
Absolutely in this,
And
I do like we were talking as well last week about Gunther's got a really good in-character way of doing that thing you kind of have to do in promos where it's like, gas up your opponents or the title or whatever. He does that sort of like shocked that they did something good. Hey, you did that. That was good.
Yeah.
Really like him.
Yeah, what was it like? Yeah, I'm tag champion.
Yeah, so he did that this week.
Lovely.
Yeah, you were a tag champion. I didn't expect it. You did. And they did it to Seth Rollins about the other week about how he elevated the title that he's going for. And he's like, if you can do nothing else.
Yeah.
Main event time?
Yes, just before that, Judgment Day meet in the back. They all agree they're going to focus on SummerSlam. Rhea offers to help Bálor again. He says, whoa, let's make things clear. You're both handling your business alone at SummerSlam. I want to do the same tonight, unless you think I'm not good enough. Priest says he didn't trust Gunther, but he knew Bálor could handle his business. And Bálor said, I'm going to soften him up so you can finish him at SummerSlam. And they bump fists. And then there was the match, and he didn't soften him up. Instead, he hit him with 3 chops, which Gunther basically no-sold and then murdered his chest. Throughout the rest of the match, there was a big red mark on it you saw towards the end. After a break, Bálor tried fighting back with some more chops, and again, Gunther just chops him down, hits a backdrop, gets him in the Boston Crab, but Bálor does manage to get to the ropes. Gunther tried for an avalanche back suplex, but there was a nice shift in midair from Bálor and got a crossbody basically off the top. Headlock elbow drop for 2. Gunther puts him in a sleeper, but let go to try for a powerbomb, but Bálor reversed that into a DDT, hit a clothesline. Gunther just barely moves and just goes, here's how you do a clothesline, dickhead. It nails him for a 2 count. Bálor hits a sling blade, consecutive double foot stomps onto the back as well, a running drop kick, sets up for the coup de grace, but Gunther avoids it, puts another sleeper on. Balor's still fighting, so Gunther hit a powerbomb and put him again in a sleeper. Bálor tries as much as he could, but Gunther locks it in. Bálor passes out. The ref calls it. Gunther wins, and as he was announced as the winner, he was like, I'm going to choke him a little bit more, actually. Puts him in a sleeper. The ref can't separate them. So Priest runs out for the save, and they brawl. They fight onto the announce table, around the announce table, and around ringside, and that's the end of the show.
That brawl was pretty hot, so I think everything is fine, fundamentally. I'll sometimes defend, even when they have bad matches. Jey Uso has bad matches. I'm never going to defend the Jimmy Uso one, but he has a lot of just bad to bang average matches. LA Knight has mostly bang average matches, but I'll defend them in that they absolutely wrestle for the audiences, otherwise you wouldn't see the reactions they get and you wouldn't sense that bond between the two sides. That was badly missing here. These weren't really wrestling for this crowd, and they're both experienced, and I don't know, maybe they should have figured that out and gone with something a little bit different. The one point in this match was the rush of stomps leading into the coup de grace where Finn Bálor unlocked 2015 NXT babyface for a split second. Fans recognised it, saw how it fit the dynamic and went with it, and it was all over in a split second when he didn't get it, and then it was back to what they were doing before, and it was their undoing. Ultimately, this wasn't for this audience, and that's as much...
First time ever this as well.
Yeah. It was going to be one of the... It was a takeover main event before the pandemic threw everything up in the air, I think. But it didn't feel like a first time ever because it felt very old NXT coded. Anyway, you cannot just have your match, especially in WWE, otherwise you will be greeted with crickets and you will be made to look weaker as a result. And as a go-home match, it wasn't great for Gunther, but the brawl proves that everything is fine because that was hot.
I mean, it's a 2024 Finn Bálor match. When you're having a 2024 Finn Bálor match and you're in there with Gunther, it means that the next 2024 Finn Bálor match is going to be a 2024 Finn Bálor match. You're in there with him and you're doing solid, flat,
he's a good tag wrestler
unexciting stuff.
He has fairly hot WWE tag matches. That's about the extent of it at this point.
Yeah.
And it's sad when nobody wants to really accept that about a wrestler that might have once been great or perceived as great or whatever, because he's got the matches in his back catalogue, but it's okay to wind down a bit.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'll never think about this again.
Yeah. I mean...
But a good closing bit to set us up. I'm really excited for SummerSlam. But let us know your thoughts on that and the whole show in the comments section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there. You can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas and subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from. For daily wrestling podcasts, we'll be coming back later on today to preview the good American Bash on NXT. But for now, this has been the Raw Review. My thanks to Hamflett Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.